Okay, everybody, we're back. We're back on this thing. No need to panic. I remembered that you have to load the memory card. Then you can continue the police chopper chase. I did change around the controls. I think for the best. We'll find out pretty fast, though. Oh my god. Look at this action-packed sequence. I guess you gotta try and not swing towards the thing that's gonna explode.
That was close.
Woo! See, now this is some Spider-Man action. I don't know if I've been called a menace yet, but other than that, this is very spidery. This part seems a little slow. You gotta wonder if the people of New York would be kind of pro Spider-Man, simply because it's like, well, listen, the cops, we're not in love with the cops right now as a culture, but then also the cops kind of like shot up my whole apartment building with a fucking helicopter. Like, this is like some shit they'd use in Afghanistan, and they use that to try and get Spider-Man, which, I get they're trying to do their job, but like, come on, man. I think I've got this code figured out here. Avoid the wooden boards. I guess this looks like an abandoned building, so maybe everyone would be cool with that. Oh, there's a billboard for the Hulk. Wake up to W Hulk 96.6. W Hulk 96.6, bringing you the smashing hits. You get that? It's clobbering time with the Thing. I guess you could do a lot of good radio shows themed after superheroes, right? Woo! It's a good thing he has Spidey sense, huh? I can just make a little weird circle. I guess Spider-Man would be pretty hard to assassinate, seeing as it's like he knows when you're about to take a crack at him. I'm gonna avoid these lights. I have a feeling about that. My Spidey sense tells me about that. Okay. Whoa. Now what? Can I go up the side? Uh-oh. I got upside down and burned up. I don't know what happened. That didn't go well. I do know that. I do know that didn't go well. Oh, here's Captain America radio? Man, he sucks. This guy sucks. I guess I haven't been following the story of this game closely enough to understand why this is happening. Did they think I robbed the bank when I saved the bank? That seems to be a very Spider-Man sort of storyline. He saves the day, and then someone's like, well, he obviously ruined the day and just did this to make you think he saved the day. Alright, there we go. I guess that one just required you not going up the ones. Just kind of a guess and check. Alright. Nothing like getting to a checkpoint and being that close to the end of the level, and then it's like, whoop. Okay. Ow. I just got shot. Is this still the helicopter chase? It would seem that it is, but I don't know. Woo! I don't know how close you can get to the green mist before you die. Before it's like, you are not web swinging, sir. You just jumped into a void. That's totally different. Interestingly enough, for me, I'm working on a column right now for Lit Reactor. I write over there sometimes, and it's about an interview I heard with Chuck Palahniuk, where he was talking about Spider-Man. Because he basically said that David Foster Wallace might still be alive if someone had just been like, hey man, why don't you write like 12 issues of Spider-Man? And he had taken them up on that. I guess his overall thing is like, writing these like big you know, meaningful novels and stuff. It wears you out, and you know, if you're not having any fun, you'll just burn out on it completely and quickly. And if you want to have like longevity in your career as a writer, and I guess maybe in your life, you got to take on projects sometimes that are a little more fun and get you out of your zone. I guess he was also sort of talking about how more and more it's like authors are going into, you know, sci-fi and horror and stuff, and like an author like David Foster Wallace, we wouldn't know, Iron Man font there. Clever. An author like David Foster Wallace probably wouldn't do that traditionally, but maybe he should. I agree with it. I tend to try and alternate between a serious project and a goofy project, and then usually to have both kind of going at once, because it's a nice sorbet for the mind, right? But also just because, yeah, it's, I don't know, you can get like too up your own butt about it. You can get like too serious about your serious project, and that's really easy to do. So it helps if you can go from being so serious all the time to being a little less serious sometimes. This is a cool little action movie sequence that I just sort of glossed over by talking about like fiction writing the whole time. I guess that's, you know, that's how you know I'm the life of the party. I'm gonna talk about fiction writing while playing a video game. But yeah, so anyway, the column I'm working on is kind of about how do I think that premise is true? Like, is it probably true that you could save your own life by doing that sort of thing? And I kind of think it might be true. Like, and the other, I guess the bigger point is like, well, what if it's not true? I mean, what do you lose by trying it? I don't think the world would, I guess you do have to look at it from a slightly different perspective than our current, because like when David Foster Wallace would have been in theory like tagged to write Spider-Man, that was not something David Foster Wallace would do, but now he probably could, I think, because of, you know, you've had like your Ta-Nehisi Coates and your Roxane Gays writing comics, and that's kind of seen as I think a more legitimate thing for a writer to do these days. So I don't know, maybe that does, maybe it has changed. Oh, I'm dead. I got blowed up by that. I don't know. I always think it would be fun to write something like a comic book. I mean, I did write one issue of a comic book of my own making, but then I would never turn that down. Or if someone was like, we want you to write a video game. Or one time I had a friend who, he did like, I don't know what you'd call it, film production. He did a lot of shooting of video and editing of video and stuff for, not like weddings, but like, let's say an instructional video or something. And so he was kind of like a hired gun in the video world. And he was like, hey, have you ever thought about like trying to write like a short film? Because he's like, I would just like to work on something that's fun for me. So I did. I wrote a short movie for him that I don't think he ever used. I don't know if it's because he didn't like it or he just changed his mind or what, but that film never got made. But you can read the thing. I think it's in some book I have on Amazon, but I think it's also on my website. It's called Fixture Sale. And basically it's the story of a guy and a girl who break up. And then he comes to get his stuff, but you know, they've been together so long that it's like not clear whose stuff is whose stuff. So what ends up happening is it turns out most of it is her stuff. And so she's put a price tag on everything in the entire apartment. So it's like this huge project she did of seemingly spite, where she, oh my god, this face. Just video game designers. I'm not saying spend as much time on the face as you do on the boobs. I'm just saying spend some % of the time. Go both ways. You know what I mean? It's fair. Uh-oh, Venom. Guys, I haven't seen either of the Venom movies yet. Or the last 2 Spider-Man movies. I mean, the last Venom movie and the last Spider-Man movie, I have a pretty good excuse, right? Because I'm not insane, so I'm not going to go to the movie theater and like COVID. But I don't know what happened to Spider-Man. What was it? Far From Home? Far From Home. I just never got to it. Maybe part of it is like you read even a pretty minimal amount of the comics and you're like, well, should I be listening to this? Do I care? He's got abs, but they kind of look like they're little balls or something on his stomach. You read even a little bit of comics and you're like, well, if this follows the comics world, it would seem that this Mysterio presenting himself as a hero is bound for ending up where it's like
But one thing never changes. My responsibility to use my powers for others before myself, no matter what the cost. They're innocent.
Yeah, Spidey. You know that he's going to be a bad guy. He's just doing good guy stuff so that you think he's a good guy, but he's going to be a bad guy. That certainly seemed to be where it was heading. And I guess there could be a big twist in there, but, you know, I don't know. Yes, save progress. Go ahead. Yes, it is okay. I will remain swinger. Rhino's Rampage. I do like the Rhino. He just seems like a crazy mofo. But these boss fights have been giving me a hard time in this game. Uh-oh. You know, the weird wall-eyed look almost kind of works for this character, I guess, so that's something. Well? Can I use this electricity to harm him somehow? Will he get hit this electricity? Alright, what if I trick him into that? This seems like a path to victory. Or maybe he hits these barrels and explodes them or something.
Whoa.
Da, 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 da.
Look at you all lit up.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. I was hoping that would hurt him a little bit more than that, but okay. I guess that's something.
Hey, did you get a charge out of that?
Let's see. I'm over here. You can come over here and attack me.
Ooh, shocking.
I was hoping that hitting, you know, science gizmos like 4 times would take more of his life than this. Maybe he can hit him again. Maybe they're not done. They still seem to have a beam shooting out of him.
Rhino burgers coming up.
Okay. I don't know if this is gonna finish him, but I guess we'll just have to see. Stick with me in the thrilling battle we have here. Whoa! I miscounted his tells. I don't know what you call those in a video game. You know, it's like in a poker you have a tell, but in a video game it's like you have a signal of like, hey, I'm about to do something. I'm a boss. Oh, come on. What about these barrels? Do you think that works? That's gotta work, right? Things in video games explode. Cheap, 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 cheap. He makes kind of a horrific I'm being electrocuted sound. That's pretty entertaining. Sounds like he's actually dying, which is nice. I'm saying nice, but that seems like weird thing to say about it. Oh, damn it. Come on. I don't like when they do this. You're like, can someone do the math? I know that the math is the most boring part of making the game, but can someone do the math so it's like, all right. I don't know what just happened. But you don't have like a tiny little speck of life left. It's pretty clear whether or not you're victorious.
What's he doing here? Please, step back, officer. Allow me.
Trapmatic.
Maybe he is reformed.
Highly branded trap.
Need to find out what happened to Black Cat. This is a job for Peter Parker, not Spidey.
Do you like how Dr. Octopus is so on brand that he's like, well, I couldn't just like put this... I couldn't use my regular arms, nor could I mount something to like, I don't know, a car. What the hell was that? Mummies? Are we fighting mummies? Venoms? Carnages? Carnage? Could be anything. Let's face it. We're talking about the old Parker Luck. Could be just about anything. But yeah, I would love to like write Spider-Man comics someday. That would be like the achievement of a dream. But I would settle for a lesser hero, for sure. There's kind of an advantage to writing a lesser hero, which is like, if you read like Tom King's written a bunch of books like Vision and Adam Strange and I don't know, what is it called? Omega Men or something? Not Omega Men. I don't know. Mr. Miracle. And it's like, well, so no one really cares about these characters too much, so it kind of gives you an advantage because you're able to sort of do whatever you want with them. And it's not like you're going to have a bunch of fanboys being like, oh, this isn't the Mr. Miracle I grew up with. I think that's the one thing if David Foster Wallace did right. Spider-Man, it's like, I think in order to make the switch from being Spider-Man or from David Foster Wallace to Spider-Man writer, you would have to like never touch Twitter again. I kind of think that like if you wrote Spider-Man, that would be my primary like qualification. If I was trying to apply for the job to write Spider-Man, I'd be like, I will never touch Twitter. I'll just delete my presence from the internet, so there will never be a problem with like, oh, he said this anti-whatever thing. And it would be like, yeah, all right, that's cool. That helps. We could probably do without our writers saying things. We don't really value our writers for their opinions on issues. That doesn't seem to help our sales, mostly seems to hurt them. Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? There's a frustrating portion of video games where it's like, what am I supposed to be doing?
Out of my way, nerd.
Out of my way, nerd.
It's a doozy.
Oh, toe, 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 ow. Oh, toe, toe,
This is good stuff. This is good atmosphere in the game. I approve. I don't always approve of like a cutscene, but this is okay. Although I'm saying this now, but should I fail in the near future, I'm gonna be like, the 5th time watching that cutscene, I'll probably be a little tired of it. Just thinking out loud here. Ugh. So slow. Why am I so much slower than him? He's phenomenal. Do you get it? Venom, phenomenal. Oh shit. That's gonna cost me.
If you want to
Haha.
follow me.
What is coming out of his eyeballs? Very wily coyote exit. I approve again.
It's Spider-Wars go.
This is the sort of thing that young Pete would not have approved of, because he'd be like, Spider-Man is serious. This is some serious shit. And as older Pete, I'm like, well, Spider-Man can be serious sometimes, but sometimes it could be a video game. All right.
Come back here, Venom.
I wish I knew how to do that.
Now you see me. Now you don't.
Is it necessary to do that?
See me, see Spider.
Like, am I going to need to make those again? Let's see. There we go. I got it. I know how to do controls. Well, that's not working. Maybe I need to kick.
See Spider.
Oh, there was a health. I saw it. No! I've been slimed. Ho 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 ho. So fucking funny.
Weird Spider.
Alright. You can just push X and skip that. That's a plus. So I got Spidey fists. That seemed to work one time.
Now you see me. Now
Let's see, I was running in a circle the time it worked.
come to
And he showed up over there. Oh shit. Oh shit.
see me, see Spider.
Feels like there's probably a technique to be used here. Based on what's happened with the other bosses, but oh my god. He's so much faster than me. Uh-oh. I think there might be some way to like lock on or something.
Spidey.
If I'm remembering this correctly. Damn it. Damn it. Well, why is he disappearing? Also, is this the origin of Miles Morales and his disappearing magic powers? You know what one of my least favorite thing in comics is these days? Is someone will argue. So, you know, I'll say like, well, it doesn't really make sense the way that this character, like, this thing in comics doesn't make sense to me, right? And usually it's something like, well, it doesn't, it's a little weird that like Iceman has been around this whole time and now he's gay. You know, it doesn't totally make sense, but okay. And then someone will say something along the lines of, well, you know, things in comics don't have to make sense. You're talking about the logic of something where, you know, a guy has magic spider powers from a radioactive spider bite. And I'm like, okay, yes, that's not like a totally invalid criticism, but it's a kind of invalid criticism because, like, I mean, at some point something has to matter, right? At some point there has to be something about a story or a character that does matter. It can't just be like, well, there's no rules in this world ever. And any attempt to say that there's some kind of rule or structure in this universe is a violation of what comics is. And that doesn't really strike me as being true. And it's kind of like when you're playing this game, right? I mean, yeah, crazy shit can happen and whatever, but at some point it's like, well, look, if the controls were to just change, and it's like, well, the buttons have been switched now to better accommodate left-handed players, you'd be like, well, all right, like, I'm not necessarily opposed to the goal here, but I don't know if that's gonna give you what you're looking for. And it does make it weird for the other people. So, like, at some point, there has to be some kind of, like, reason that things are the way they are, maybe, is a way to put it. How much can I web? Okay, that does nothing. There must be some kind of trick here that I'm not understanding. Okay, that worked. Maybe that's what I need. Oh, damn it. Shoot him! It's a little demoralizing to run in a circle from him, but... You know, if that's what you got it. Well, this is my best showing so far. I wonder what it's like to watch this, you know, to watch me fail time and again. How many times can I fail at this? You would think at some point you could fail. I don't know, like, newer games seem easy enough that you could maybe just eventually win by brute force. Like, well, look, if you play at 30, you're not going to lose 150 times. Like, eventually, you will accidentally hit on the way to play this game. I could swear there was some kind of way to, like, lock on or something. Is that it? Did I just do it? Well, I struck him. He's been struck. So that's good. Oh my god. I feel like we tried this before with the lizard, didn't we? Oh my god. That took like all my life. That's no good. That is no good. Oh, hello. And not consider that there may be other healths. Ah, shit. Come on. Like, what if I pick up this box? What if I conveniently got myself thrown into that box? Oh, God. Okay. I think we've stumbled into a possible way of doing this. Ah, shit. No, 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 no! I just, you know, it's funny because, like, you play these bosses and stuff, and it's kind of fun to play these games. But then their, like, little animations and stuff get, like, boring because you've seen them so many times. We did it. That is a deep motherfucking sewer. I would be a little perturbed to find out, like, if I was going by a manhole and it turned out that, you know, it was like 300 feet, just a straight drop down a shaft. I think I'd be a little bit like, guys, this, I don't know, maybe this needs to be completely paved over. I don't know if I'm comfortable with having a manhole here. That's a great phrase to take out of context, huh? In my apartment complex, there's a manhole, and whenever there's like a break from school, kids who live around here screw around, and they're like climbing on there's like a little sign for the development and stuff. They'll climb up there, and then someone will put a sign on the mailbox area that's like, hey, no climbing on stuff. And you're like, well, I don't think the issue here is that they don't know they're not supposed to do that. It's like that old Dave Chappelle bit where the guy was speeding 1,000,000 miles an hour, and then his excuse to the cops is, I didn't know you couldn't do that. That's kind of how it feels with these kids doing this stuff. I'm like, well, is this an information problem? It doesn't seem like an information problem, maybe. It seems like, oh my god, that was a waste of a lot of web. Wow, go me. What are these lizards doing? Why am I here? What's happening? I would be the most annoying, like, Avenger. What are these lizards doing here? What's happening? Why am I here? I would just be constantly asking, like, well, what am I doing here exactly? What did you've got a Captain America, you got like a Wolverine sometimes, you got a Hulk, You have a Hulk. Like, I don't think I need to be here. Just, you know. Oh. Fell down into the sewer, which is apparently a deep, deep, dark cavern. Alrighty. Well, I got more web now, so that's a plus. And I know that I don't need to do any of that looking around shit.
But you can't hide.
Well, he probably... What is this? Now let's... Okay. That does that. That does nothing. Okay.
Those things.
Good old button mashing.
One of the lizards.
Pete's best friend. I don't know what the superheroing equivalent of button mashing would be, but it would be my specialty as an Avenger for sure. You're like, oh, he just kind of button mashes. Oh, there's a tube up there. Do you think I can go up there? Can I look around? Is there a look? There's not really a look around button, is there? Fudge. Super fudge. Be a good answer if someone asks you about your favorite superhero. Super Fudge from Judy Blume. What is happening in this sewer?
Guys, am I late for the party?
All right, can I do this? I'm gonna try this thing. I don't know if that helped me very much. Luckily, the sort of 3D effects, you know, that weren't totally worked out at this time also seem to be affecting the bad guys. So that's something. You know, it's like sometimes the 3D was bad and it just made it bad for the hero. But in this case, it seems like it works both ways. So I'm okay with that. Is this a big trap that Venom sent for me? Set for me? It seems excessive. Ugh. Oh, fuck. I pushed the button for flip backwards off into the abyss, which is X, by the way. As I remapped the buttons, I remapped X to flip backwards into the abyss. Before, I think it would have been Y? You know. I think it was pretty effective, though. It's pretty hard to argue that. Oh, God. Okay. I was just following the spider radar, as I was told to before, but apparently that's not going to work. I've hit that point in gaming, you know, when you hit a level where you're like, all right, I was making good progress. I was, like, learning the moves and stuff, and now I'm just kind of starting to get worse. That's where I am. I did it.
I should probably swing for the next pipes using my L1.
Hold
targeting
L1
mode.
to swing in to go into target swing mode? What? Have I had this the whole time? Oh god. Okay. What do I push then? That? Ooh, okay. Okay. So I can just basically swing onto whatever I want. I'm assuming this has to turn green. That works. Would have been nice to fucking know about before, but okay. Alright. What the hell? Where am I going? This way? Huh. See, I wouldn't be a good Spider-Man because I'd be like, I'm confused about which way I'm going. Okay, I think I'm going this way. It's surprisingly disorienting when you get all upside down and shit. Should I have been using this skill? Would this have helped me up to this point? I don't feel like it would have, but maybe. Oh, come on.
I'm already at full health.
I'm tired of these lizards. These are not very interesting enemies. Very beat 'em uppy. lots of Spider-Man beat 'em ups back in the day, which is kind of weird because you're like, the main appeals of Spider-Man are more like swinging around, flying around. But a lot of it was like this. You're just kind of running from screen to screen and punching, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. I love a good beat 'em up. I like beating them, and the way I like beating them is up. But just it doesn't make a lot of sense as like a Spider-Man game. All right. Well, I think we're done for today. We're going to overwrite our previous thing and then move on. But we'll see you next time for some more spidery action.